Sealander here with Hot Flash, and we're on our next adventure. We got Mr. Cappie with us, and we're at Greasy Creek Friendly, going up the logger trail, and we're going to try to make Roan Mountain Shelter tonight. So we're just starting here at Greasy Creek Friendly Shelter. I've been here and stayed here a couple times with Miss CC, and she just sent us off on our way. So it should be a rainy week. We got I don't know, we got 60 miles on this first leg planned, and we'll work from there to see how we feel. We're just taking our time. So anyways, off we go. All right, we're back up on the start of the trail. We're at the Greasy Creek Gap sign. If you go off to the right, you go through that gap and take a right and follow the red rocks, you'll get your way down at about a 0.75 to 0.8 height down to Greasy Creek Friendly Hostel. If you go left, over there, there is a sign that says to Tiger Creek, and there's a white blaze right there. Also, I wanted to make note that there is a flat area for fire pit, and there's camping for half a dozen tents here. All right, this is Clyde Smith Shelter at 4,419 foot. There is a water that's down towards the center of the screen, towards the left of the shelter, but it's pretty steep, 0.2 down, and the water is flowing very well here in September 1st, 2018. It's probably doing at least 2 liters a minute out of a pipe down there, so that's real good. I don't know if there's a privy. Was there a privy here? No privy, no bear cables. Oh, there's a shovel to dig your holes for your cat holes. Yeah, we're still pretty much in a green tunnel the first 3 to 4 miles of this trip from Greasy Creek. We're about 0.8 past, heading northbound the Smith Shelter. What is it called? Clyde Smith Shelter, I think it was. So we're just climbing up, constantly up to Roan High Shelter. We'll have another 8 miles to that tonight. Not sure if we'll make it. Kind of slow this trip. We're climbing up to about 1.7 from Clyde Shelter, and we're going a northbound trek this trip. We're trying to get up to Roan High Knob Shelter tonight, which is, as everybody knows, the highest shelter on the AT. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now, and we're just taking it easy. First day out, haven't been hiking in a while, but hey, we're plugging away at the trail a little bit at a time, and by the end of this trip, we should be getting a lot closer to Damascus. This is a couple miles north of Clyde Smith Shelter. All right, Cappie, don't fall off, Cappie. It's a big drop off there. Pretty cool. Well, we're hiking up the Roan Knob and the shelter, but we're probably gonna stop at that Ash Gap campground because there's water there. It's pretty steep up this Roan Mountain. I think it's over 6,000 foot summit there. So, right, we're at Ash Gap, and this is the camp set up, and here's Cappie. Made his own little bed there in the weeds. But it's thick, cushy grass. It's probably nice. He has a bed in there too. But the trail came from this direction, and it goes along this way, and then the main place where people stop is right over that way, and you can see the blue blaze going down. The water place is about, man, it's at least 0.2, maybe a little more, down a long hill to get to it. And it's coming out at maybe just shy of 1 liter a minute. Little pipe in there to help with the flow. All right, it's day 2, coming out of Ash Gap. We're climbing up Roan Knob, going up to the shelter to check out. But it's too dark to film with the GoPro, so I tried this camera. It's a heavy climb right out of there as well. So let's get on with it. It's really rooty climb up Roan Mountain here to the Roan Knob Shelter. So pretty steep as well. So we're over 6,000 feet now, working our way up. I just thought this rock section looked really good. There's the sun coming up. Nice. It's about 7:30 in the morning. And we must go onward. Right before the Cloudland Hotel site, we're at 6,200 feet. And the trail folks have made a rock highway, if you will. Like I'm walking along right here, and it's pretty much a rock highway. Try to keep the camera steady. We're at the Cloudland Hotel site, 6,200 feet approximately. It's an opening up here. I didn't look around for the chimney, but here's the water fountain behind me, and we can see out. You can see out a good distance out that way. Cappie, don't roll in the grass. All right, we came off the trail. You do have to come off trail to Roan High parking lot. This is where that we call it the Cloudland Hotel. But bonus, there's bathrooms here, and it's September 1st. They're unlocked right now, and there's toilets and water and soap, nicely cleaned up. So it was nice to get a refreshing cleanup. But I'll show you the parking lot, and you can get back to the trail going off this way, or there's another place. I came down that way right there, but the trail is that way. So anyways, get on back to the, grab a quick lunch. Cappie's chilling in. Alrighty. Alright, we're at Roan High Knob Shelter, 6,204 feet or something like that. This is the highest shelter on the AT. It has an upstairs, but really not too much to see. Okay, we're here at Roan High Knob Shelter, 6,200 plus feet. Go in here. Oh, it's dark. Has a window. It's real dark in here. There's an upstairs up there, but you can't, well, you can get there. There's closed by board right now. It's real dark in here. So, anyways. Alright, let's head on. This is coming down off Roan Mountain, Roan High Knob Shelter, and it's just solid rocks all the way down. It's not too fun. Hurts your feet. But we're heading down to Carver's Gap. I think we're about 1.2 miles from Carver's Gap. Hot Flash and I moving down the hill. Day 2, kind of slow. I will say that if you go in there at the Roan High Knob parking area, that's a good place to camp there in the top where the old Cloudland Hotel ruins were at. So if you're thinking about stopping at Ash Gap and you're going northbound, don't. Press up that hill, it's steep, and go ahead and make your way up to the top of that hill and camp where that hotel site is, and right beside it is a parking lot with running water. in the bathrooms. And I can't speak that's open year round because I did see some comments in the gut hooks about not being open year round. So, just some advice. Here at Carver Gap, big parking lot off to the right, and right here is where the trail continues. We just came out from behind that guardrail. So we're heading up now. You can see a better shot of Carver Gap. And we're on the border of North Carolina. Coming up. Looking across. That's where we came from, that mountain over there. Roan Mountain knob. Here comes hot flash. You all right?
Yeah.
All righty. Gonna be epic views.
Let me get some angle.
Hey, we're on top of Grassy Bald, 5,807 foot. You actually got a 360 view. I'm kind of showing you what's behind me. Cappie likes the grass. All these people are from parking at Carver's Gap, and they're coming up the trail. But looking at this, we got to go up that mountain next.
He did all the muscle power, so I just walked behind, so no problem.
You're the moral
That's right.
Come on, honey, you can do it.
Here, lead. Yep. Let's go to the high point up here. Everybody's going. A lot of people, dogs, and whatnot. Whoop. Come on, Cappie, right here. Come. Right here. Go on top. Okay, behind me is Jane's Bald, and we just left Round Bald. So it's well traveled path. A lot of people parking at Carver's Gap. They're making it all the way up to the top. So we got a bald right there, Jane's Bald, and that may be Grassy Bald way up there. We're making our way up there.
Hey, you see where we're going, DJ? He's done. You want some water? You want some water?
Oh.
Hey, this is not the attitude I'm looking for.
Oh yeah. That'll keep us. We have to haul the water, keeping on. All right.
Bell's ready.
It's a community. It's a community water fountain.
Come on, Madeline. I got your backpack.
Let's finish up quick for the rain shower.
Just tell him to turn right at the fort.
Pose for the camera. Oh, you pose for me. Look at that. You can see a long ways. There's where we came. The bald in front of us was, I forgot what the name of it was, but then Roan Mountain's right behind it. Grassy Bald, and we're on Jane's Bald. What was the name of the other bald back there?
Bisca?
No. We should be coming up to the Over Mountain Shelter. Hey, where's the shelter at? Oh, okay. It is. Here's Cappie. There's a shelter back there. A nice view. Okay, here's a closer look of the Over Mountain Shelter. Come on, Cappie, let's check it out. Old barn. It's got great view though. If we look back, pretty nice. All right, we just left. This is day 3. Just left Over Mountain Shelter, climbing up Little Hump. Pretty epic view over there. That's pretty steep right here. This section. It rained yesterday, so the trail's all muddy. But we got Little Hump and Big Hump to go through this morning, so that's where we're going up now. I'll give you a little view of what we're seeing. Look at that valley over there. Gorgeous. There's Mommy climbing out of Little Hump, or climbing up Little Hump from Over Mountain Shelter. Steep. Here's where we were last night, Over Mountain Shelter. All the tents and the nice grass area in the barn. Give you a panoramic view. That's Little Hump ahead there. Just slowly making our way up. Up, running, going right into the sunrise. 8 o'clock in the morning. Up. Here's where we're going. Little Hump. Not quite to the top of Little Hump. Just stopping at this rock. There's a couple false summits that make you think.
No.
We still got to go up that way to Little Hump. All right, here we are on top of Little Hump. 5,500 some odd feet. Hey. Pretty epic. Let's walk. Keep going, babe.
Stuff that in the rain.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's...
Good morning.
And there's where we're going next.
Where?
Hump Mountain. Hump Mountain right there. Right. We're in between the in the saddle between Little Hump and Hump Mountain. Look behind me. There's where we're going. Hump Mountain. Great pictures. Look at all over there. Awesome. That's where we're going. Top of Hump Mountain, 5,558 feet, I believe.
For a long time, we were meeting what we thought was about halfway between we were south for a winter ski trip, and we'd get a cabin up in West Virginia.
The grass to the left, that's Little Hump.
We
Back
all
up
realized
that
that
way
we'd
is
go a day
Roan
earlier
Mountain.
than our cabin reservation.
And we're heading.
So I went on, I guess it was Airbnb.
That way.
Found the Bruce stuff.
Here we are on Big Hump Mountain. It's taking a break. This is like 5,558 feet, I think it was. Kind of sitting here with a group of people. Got 360 view. Do I roundabout Big Hump Mountain?
How's it different than a regular limit?
Just coming off of Hump Mountain, and got a really good epic view here. See what it does if I do this. There's hot flash behind me. This is probably one of the nicest places on the trail to get away from the green tunnel. And as you're coming up the mountain, it was almost like, reminded me when I was climbing 14ers in Colorado, when you can look up and you see people up the trail and they look like they're not too far away, but it takes you like an hour to get to that same point. And then when you come up to a part where you think you're on the summit, false summit, get over that point, another false summit. There's like 3 false summits when you come up Big Hump or Hump Mountain, but it's pretty epic. Especially this. So this is a top pick for Appalachian Trail. Now it's some pretty steep climbs between Roan Mountain, Roan Knob, I guess it was, and you had the grassy bald over there, which I didn't go up. The little hump, and there was other humps we went over yesterday. I forgot the name of them already, but it's definitely epic. Good right there. That's pretty awesome. Just coming down off of the Hump Mountain. Coming out of the grasslands and everything, now it's a rocky path, wet and muddy and rocky. More roots and roots and roots. It's slippery right here. The whole path rocky for miles so far. This here's the Dahle Flats. We're gonna stop here and eat our lunch. Gut Hook shows a place maybe up here in the woods out of the, so that yellow wildflower. This is the Dahle Flats campground. Pretty nice. So there's place to set up here for 15-20 tents. It's an excellent place. There's no water. The water was probably a mile back, 0.8 back maybe. That would be southbound from here. Well, I'm coming off here. I'm not sure. I've seen a blaze in a while. There's a creek right before US 19, I think it is. But the water looks pretty turbid. I don't know if I'd fill up with that. Let's go up here to 19. We're coming out of 19E, right from here, across the street, and go up the trail. And just coming off of 19E. This is probably the same water source, but this is kind of murky water. We're climbing out of 19E, or the Highway 19E, trying to head up to a place called the Meadow, and we're about 1.25 miles climbing up. It's pretty steep initially, and then we're in this ravine of just greenery for the last couple hundred yards. Yeah. This is just a series of ravines that are cleared just for this greenery. All right, here's the meadow, and there's nowhere to camp up here. It shows places to camp, but I just don't see any spot up here. The grass is all thick. I don't see a flat spot. So there's a camp spot forward here. So we're gonna go there. All right, this is, the Meadows is back that way. Coming out of US 19, it's about 2.5 miles. And the top of the hill, before it turns a sharp left, there's a spot. This is where we set up camp tonight. There was a lot of, I could hear people talking down the hill and four-wheelers running till 9 at night, and then it's already 7, they're already running again. So apparently four-wheelers is a way of life over here. Because man, they were running and running. Look, it sounded like they were running a track down there or something. Anyway, I can hear dogs yelping. So we're not far from cars here at this spot. So you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
All right, it's day 4. We're about, I don't know, 1.6 miles from the Meadows, and we're heading towards Jones Falls. It's one of the first bigger falls that we'll see on this trek, and probably the biggest one we've seen since Amicalola. So anyways, you know, this being day 4, there's some pretty dull trail in this section between the sites, especially coming out of that US 19, coming up through those steep climbs and all the deep vegetation valleys. And yeah, it was very hot yesterday because of all the climbing that we did over top of the Hump Mountain and Little Hump Mountain, and then the climb up again at the end up to the Meadows kind of wore us out. So anyways, next stop will be Jones Falls in about 1.2 miles. All right, here we are at Jones Falls. That's at least a 200 footer. We're gonna soak our feet right here. Awesome. We're just taking a breather, soaking our feet here. Cappie, come on, right here. And I can see hot flash. Cooling her paws. One more time. Maybe a little better picture of the stream we're passing. Oh, it's really refreshing there at Jones Falls. You can stop and soak your feet. We took and got cleaned up. Really good. I'm not sure what that is alongside that we're walking. We come out here a little bit from Jones Falls and we got this big stream that we're passing alongside of. There's a cool campsite right here alongside of this creek. I don't know how clean that water is. I probably wouldn't drink it without double treating it. That is filter with the Sawyer squeeze and then the Aquamura drops. This is a real treat to get to walk alongside the creek. Very soothing. Well, let's get on to it. This is Mountaineer Falls. Pretty cool. Just goes in nothing. Here's a trail. There it is. We stopped here for lunch after we did about 6.2 miles. This is the Mountaineer Shelter. And I'll put up the elevation we're at. But you come down the trail up there from behind the shelter. There's places to pitch a tent up there. Obviously, fire pit. But if you look to the right, this trail right here goes that way for about a 0.15 to the top of Mountaineer Falls. That's where you get your water. Take you inside here. 3 stories is kind of unique. Got a hot flash fixing clean up now. There's first, second, and then third, all the way up there. And they did put a skylight. But they have a board in here. Hiker graffiti board. Well, it looks like it's all wore off. So I guess I won't write anything. We're making camp here tonight. Night 4, Upper Laurel Fork. There's a creek coming in here. And of course the footbridge you see on gut hooks. Now this water, it says it's kind of murky, and the trail people, one of the other comments on gut hooks said that it was contaminated with agricultural runoff. But that other stream feeding in isn't murky. Nice wide stream, a sandbar. You can see we camp. There's other spots to camp over here. Might be able to spot there. Spot right there. And then the sandbar down there. Here's the other creek coming into Laurel Fork. Much cleaner water than what's over here. I got our tent, which is, again, we're still sporting the Light Heart Gear Duo tent. Can't even, here it is, Light Heart Gear Duo tent. I've been using this for 2.5 years now. And there's been some minor seamstress type issues with it, but Miss Judy was willing to fix all of them, no problem, no hassle, no charge. And other than that, making up camp for the night. All right, I'm sitting in the creek right here, letting my feet soak. It's nice. Found a little spot right here. Waterfall coming, yeah. Now this water looks pretty clear, and there's some falls up there. This is pretty nice, and this is just up there beside our tent. Here's Cappie inside our tent. Oh, Cappie's tired. It's almost sundown, so. You all tired, Cappie? Hey, Cappie, look here, look. You tired? Oh yeah, you're tired. Good night, Cappie. All right, this is day 5. Today's day 5, I think. All right, we're at Upper Laurel Fork. We just camped just up the stream there. So 7:15, we're getting our hike on. We take a little extra moments for making coffee this morning, so we usually try to leave at 7. So here we go, day 4. I thought that whitewater looked kind of cool there. Well, let's go. It's too dark for a GoPro. Another stream crossing. About 1.7 miles from the upper Laurel Fork. Good water here. Looks nice and clean. And there's Hot Flash. This is a hardcore Cascade water source. Good water. About 3 miles from the Moron Gap shelter. Nice. We're at this viewpoint, which is like mile marker 406. And we have this view. And I think that is Hump Mountain, where we were on to yesterday. And I think that one is Little Hump. Not sure, but I think it is. They used to have a bench here, I gather, but now they just have this heavy-duty log seat. So, oh, another tree in the way. Right behind me, another tree blocking the way. Quite a few. We're about 2 miles from Moron Gap Shelter, and a couple streams, kind of cool crossing leading out this morning, but it's pretty much green tunnel. We're gonna stop for lunch here. Let's see if I can go around this way. Go around this tree that's in the way. This is common on the AT. It's not well groomed here in Tennessee. That's for sure. Some deep, thick woods I had to cross through. It's fresh. Look at that, just fell, man. The leaves, it just uprooted itself. You can see back there, down, since it has leaves on it. It's been down a couple days, but it's not too far, not too long since it fell down. Now we're pressing forward. All right, here we are at Moron Gap Shelter for lunch. We've been about 6 miles. We got here at 11. That tree right there, big tree, double blue bars, is where the water. You have to go downhill, probably more than 0.2, maybe 0.25. But you're going to come to an area where you think, oh, this is just a scraggly creek. You got to keep going, and then there's like a 4-inch PVC pipe that's flowing out about 5-6 liters a minute. A nice spot down there, but it's a climb. I won't lie to you. So picnic table is nice and clean. We're sitting over here. We had a group of trail maintainers that were sitting in there, and we're just relaxing. Nice breeze, beautiful day. Where's Cappie? Cappie's right there. You relaxing too, Cappie? Are you relaxing, Cappie? Up. Okay. Go sit down, Cappie. Lay on down. Just relax. Good boy. Just relax. Now we just stopped here for a few moments to see this view before we get down to Hampton, Tennessee. We're about a little over 3 miles. Just stopping another view, 1.6, heading down to Hampton. 1.6 from that Dove Road. We're 1.3 miles ahead of the shelter here, the Moron Shelter. And we just up on this 4,000 foot peak, and it's probably the last mountains we're going to see before we head on out, go down to the hostel and stuff. But, yeah, it's today's been kind of not too bad, ups and downs. Oh, let me see if I can show you a view there. You can kind of see through there. I think that's Roan Mountain over there. Could be. Not sure. But we'll still continue on. We're going to try to push for, I don't know, 12, 13 miles today. We'll see how it goes. Not been too bad. Just passing this old rotten cabin right before the Dennis Cove Road in Hampton, Tennessee. Kind of interesting. Yeah, it looks like there was a basement and this was like the main floor. Interesting. I don't think it was, it doesn't look like it was a living cabin. Yeah. Well, let's get on to the Dennis Cove parking area. It's coming out on Dennis Cove Road. Oh wow. Kinkora shower, no dogs. Black Bear Resort, hikers welcome, cabins, bunkhouse, dogs allowed. 0.4 miles that way. So we're gonna go to the hostel. 0.4 miles. Oh, well, let's get on at it. So let's go do our 0.4 miles down. We're coming up on Black Bear Resort, which is all on the left here. Right on this creek, which is kind of cool. Oh, Cappie walking to the hostel. There it is. Come on, Cappie. All right, looks nice. Bunkhouse on the left, overlook. Coming in here at the Black Bear Resort. These are the bathrooms. They have a very small store, but they have excellent pizzas in there. Burritos, cheeseburgers, sausage and egg biscuits. There's another full house that sleeps about 4. I think that's 85 or 100 a night. The laundry's right there under the stairs. This is where the occupants live. And there's cabins all around here. So I'm gonna make my way over here and grab a shower. These are $50 a night, so this ain't bad. Back inside. Have a heater, electric, bunk bed. You have to use your own sleeping bags. And that's it. And they got a front porch. See Hot Flash out here chillaxing. Well, this is Sealander and Hot Flash here taking a break from the trail at Black Bear Resort. Excellent, excellent hostel. They have bunks for $20 a person. We're in this cabin, which I showed you a picture earlier. It's got 110 power and a fan. Looks like a full-size bed at the bottom and a bunk bed on top. Table, chairs. And then they have, of course, so this was $50, and then they said it was like 85 or 89. There's like a cottage over there with a kitchen and living room and all that. It looks its own bathroom and all that. So here you got to go to the shower house, and they have a little store that has pizzas and dehydrated foods and candy bars and soda and beer and various little trail stuff. It's not overly quick, but it's enough to. They had pizzas that it's like $8. Put it in have a nice pizza oven. Comes out perfect in 15 minutes. So we had one of those pizzas. Shared it. Got my dog a big big Angus burger. He ate the whole burger for his dinner as well. And I gave him the pepperonis off our pizza. And we had some Gatorades, and we had some tunas and some chips.
Oh, junk food.
Junk food is correct. But we're just laying here. I know the lighting isn't so great, but excellent hostel. It's 0.4 off the trail, and you're heading northbound. There's a sign. You hang a right, and you get to that Dennis Cove Road, I think it is, or trailhead. Hang a right, and they're dog friendly. People are nice. Even got a real nice place, and
The bathroom's really clean.
yeah,
too.
bathrooms are clean. People are nice. They have an RV parking area up in the top. I didn't go walking there. Nice little common area. With each of these little cabins, little rustic cabins. I mean, they're nice. You have a little front porch, and we ate at the picnic table out in the common area. And it's pretty good. And so, anyways, we're going to wind down, go to bed. It's time for bed for us. We're kind of wore out. So, we'll see. I'm going to take another picture in the morning here. Black Bear Resort. We stayed in that cabin. $50. They do give military discount of 5%. Nice common area. I want to just show you down here. There's a river alongside, and here's some tent camping spot. There's spot 2, picnic table back there, and then there's some cabins up on the hill as well. And right alongside this creek right here. Alright, we're starting day 6, Dennis Cove parking area. Here in Hampton, Tennessee. We stayed the night at the Black Bear Resort, which was excellent, 5-star review. And this is what we're looking at right here. A trailhead parking area, and we'll be heading down to Laurel Falls next. So, here we go. Just walking up down to Laurel Falls, and this is the Laurel Creek. It's heading that way, the flow of water. So we're heading down to Laurel Falls. I think we're about a mile, 1.2 miles away or so. This is pretty cool here in this gorge. It's hot flash. You having fun? Okay, the good stuff's coming. Awesome falls. Come up about 50-60 rock steps to this cool little gorge again. Cappie. All right, we're beginning our descent of the, somebody said 300 stairs down towards the main falls, Laurel Falls. So here we go. And these are rock steps. These are rock steps. Like that. Here's hot flash coming down behind me. And there's a deep ravine off to my right that we're heading towards, so we can see the falls. This took trail workers a long time. I'm gonna keep my face down. You can definitely, whoop, catching the trees. Look at the good Cappie, yeah. Okay. All right, hot flash making it down the rocks. Good job. All right, take a pause, take a pause. Not very stair-like, more like a rock rubble pile here towards the bottom, but we're almost to the end. Almost to the end. And we'll get Laurel Fork Falls. I was saying just Laurel Falls, but it's Laurel Fork Falls. 2,123 feet elevation. We thought they were over with, but again, more steps. Come down here and kind of see what I'm seeing here. More and more steps as we go down. Here. But still, that's where we came from. And you make a sharp right and you go follow the creek, or the Laurel Fork Falls, or the Laurel Fork Creek downwards. So we're gonna go. Cappie, come here. All right, here we are at Laurel Fork Falls. Bam. Look at that. Epic view. There's where we came from, and the trail goes off that way. Awesome. Now, we'll tell you that you're not supposed to swim there at the falls. There is about 8 foot deep down there, and we did have 2 people die there playing around with that and got caught in that undertow, and it just recirculated them where they couldn't get out. I got told a story yesterday about a young boy and I guess a father. They found backpacks down here, and they found the bodies floating, and so it's real. So don't mean to be gory or anything, but don't go swimming there. Just wade in, you know, knee deep or something like that. But don't go over there where that falls, where it drops off, because when that falls goes over, it has a tumbling effect, a recirculation effect. And that water goes down, and if you were to get close to that fall, it's going to suck you down. Where that water's aerated, you can't stay buoyant. So, but anyway, beautiful falls, one of the best ones on the AT. Laurel Fork Falls, elevation 2123 feet. All right, Cappie, you just relaxing by the falls. Cappie relaxing by the falls. Good boy. See. Oh yeah, Cappie. Good boy. Go up a little closer to the falls. I'd say that is, I don't know, 60 feet tall. 80 feet wide, maybe. It's gorgeous. Whoop. There's top flash. Soaking her feet. That's trail magic. Or I should say trail medicine. Soaking your feet in this cold springs is a wonderful healing experience. I know I'm still suffering with plantar fasciitis and it helps. But usually I'm pretty good in the morning, so I didn't soak my feet this morning. Hot Flats wants one last picture of the falls. You see it through the mountains there. We're gonna go climb up this pond mountain. Hopefully we don't see any bears. Just thought that was interesting. Look at this rock face, sheer rock wall. Just down from the falls. And this is the trail. Awesome. Now we're just down from the Laurel Fork Falls. In the creek right here. Watch out, Cappie. And Cappie's sitting there wanting to take a drink of the water. And the sheer walk wall. Look at that. Way up in the top there. That's pretty awesome. And this is the trail. As we're trying to traverse the rocks. And guess what? The trail goes right there. Whoa. This is just so cool. Coming across here, having to walk around. It's kind of cool. Whoa. Don't fall. Really cool. All right, let's continue. Whoa. And it looks like we're going to disappear into the rocks right there. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and keep it on. Climb up the rock. Okay, let's see if we can make it up these more rock stairs. Woo. That's awesome. I like that when they skirt the river like that on the trail and the side of a cliff and a rock ravine. So let's continue on to Pond Mountain. This beautiful hiking along the creek here, the Laurel Fork Creek, maybe what it's called, I'm not sure. But all kinds of neat little eddies and rock formations. And it's kind of cool to look at. There's campsites along where you could camp at. We just had one up there on the left. We passed campsite. And every once in a while a tree in there falls over. Just want to point out there's all kinds of... This is at the fourth campsite we came across since coming out of Laurel Fork Falls. But you come out of the falls and it's flat for a certain area, and there was one there on the right, and then you have to climb up and over some rocks, and you come back down again on the creek, and I've seen 3 so far. So nice camp spots, all of them. Come on, a nice little bridge crossing over Laurel Fork Creek. There was like 3 campsites south of this bridge within a quarter mile. Grab another shot of this nice little creek passing and bridge. Cappie has to get a drink and take a... Here, come over here, Cappie. Go back in. You were exploring out there earlier. Nice little creek section just below the Laurel Fork and Waycaster Spring Bridge. Cappie can't resist to get in. You gonna wash your face? Wash your face. Are you all done? Shake. Shake. Okay, right there. Shake. There you go. Good boy. Let's rest. Ah! Don't leave, boy.
Crossing
Don't.
the Laurel Fork Creek.
Oh, Cappie. Your Cappie's right there. Look, oh, Cappie. Come on. Awesome. Oh, another campsite down there, she says. Pretty. Looks pretty back over that way too. Pretty shot. Just climbing up this Pond Mountain. I don't know, we're about 1.8 from the top, guessing. I'm pretty much in a green tunnel. Rock outcroppings occasionally. You can't see the views. Supposedly there's a view coming up. Just taking a breather because it's a pretty straight up climb from that Laurel Fork trail split where it goes down into Hampton at the base of the hill. And there we go. Cappie, Leaf Man. What are you doing, Leaf Man? And we're on top of Pond Mountain. I just see this tree with this type of orange vivacious fungus growing on it. It's pretty cool looking. It's pretty big as well. Just about to the campsite at the very top of Pond Mountain. Alright, we're getting to the end of this journey. So, we're going to stop at 61 miles because it was a little bit more than Hot Flash anticipated. It was pretty rough. There were a couple of days we were climbing up and over in the bright heat, and we did 4 balds and got to see 3 really cool waterfalls, 2 of which were epic, you know, especially the Laurel Fork Falls we had this morning. Pretty epic. So we actually had some really cool things. This has been our best little hiking adventure. So 61 miles in 6 days, and that's about the fastest that we can go this time around. We're getting a little bit older, and some of those are some pretty steep climbs, and we didn't condition as much as we did normally, you know. So we did, you know, most of the days we did a 9 and a 10 and a 11 and a half and a 12 and a half yesterday for miles. So, you know, we do 10 to 15 miles, and usually mostly 10 to 12 miles a day is what we end up doing with, you know, as a family. And you know, that way we're not pushing her too much, you know, because it's good to go out with your significant other and do hiking, because if you push her out of the way, you know, it's not good. And so I try to make these videos to encourage people to get out there and hike and get out of, you know, sitting and watching TV, because as you get older, those muscles just sort of seize up on you. And when I sat and had to make a change in my career field and sat in college for 6 years getting my degree and working, I stopped exercising, and boy, did my muscles tighten up. I thought I'd never do this stuff again. And I've said it before, I lost about 40 pounds, and I'm able to hike. And when I go out, after I've been in a couple days, I can jump up 15-20 miles a day for me, and not be too worse for the wear. But anyways, the long and short of it was, this was an epic section. If I could tell people some of the most beautiful parts of the Appalachian Trail in the south, it was definitely going around Hump Mountain and Little Hump and Hump Mountain, taking a a hike and hiking that thing up during the day, that is pretty gnarly. It's the closest thing you'll get to. Reminds me when I was trying to get up on those 14ers. It's not as high, but there certainly is a lot of elevation that you have to climb to get up. And you have 360 views. You also had that, I think it's James Ball there at Carver's Gap. And a lot of people hike up to that one. There's 2 balls right there that people hike up and make a day hike out of it. And again, lastly, here in Hampton, Tennessee, I can't say enough about, you know, I really enjoyed staying at the Boots Off Hostel and the Black Bear Resort Hostel. They're both here. Both are excellent. I personally, I thought that Mr. Jim there at Boots Off is a heck of a nice guy. He's put together a lot of nice little features, and he's really trying hard to make customers happy and to expand his facility. So he's still growing. Their cabins are the same. Whoa, stung by a bee. Dang it. Come, Cappie, come. Get him off, get him off. Bees. Come on, run, come on. Oh, bees. Stinking yellow jackets, man. Just fired me up. Okay. Yep, yellow jackets, man. Fired me up. Now my leg's on fire. Let me go and put some sting stuff. Good thing to bring. Have some sting stuff. Let's try that again. I was walking down, and from you could see, I must have put my pole in a yellow jacket's nest or something, because all I felt was I was getting stung. Also, my dog was getting stung, so we were both fighting him off. And then I was trying to pull him away because he was just rolling on the side and the bees were on him. And so I went and grabbed him and pulled him, and they were still pulling me off. I went back, got him, and I got stung again. And but that's all right. I grew up on and my grandpa's had an apple orchard and had a lot of yellow jackets, and I got stung all the time. So I can feel a little teeny bit, but I carry a little one of these little ease stick medicated. It's sort of like a benzocaine type thing, like has phenyl or camphor on it, you know, like camphorphenique. So I put some of that on there. I always carry that. It's like you get stung or mosquito bites and you want to itch them to death, and that pen doesn't weigh that much, and it goes a long time. I've been using that thing for 3 years now, and it's still practically full. I've used it quite a bit. So anyways, the trail had to get me. Last time we were out on a big hike, we did 75 miles. I got stung the last day and the day before, right on the same spot on my calf, within 1 inch. And I was like, man, these bees are attacking me, you know. And but you know, they're out here too. You're in nature. Sometimes you get them. But you know, all the miles I've done for all the different hikes and in Florida, where we're from, you know, I haven't been stung too awful much, so I really can't complain. So this right here. So anyways, we're finishing up, and 61 miles, baby. How do you feel?
Terrible right now.
No.
My feet's killing me.
Your feet's killing you. Mine are too. That's just part of it. But it was a pretty epic hike. Got to see
It is an awesome mountain that we see in the falls. That was good.
So a lot of mountain tops and falls this one, so it's pretty good. So any advice for the lady hikers?
Just get out of there and just do it. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible, and remember, you're never too old to start. We ran into hikers that are in their 80s, 70s and 80s.
They're doing like day hike or something.
Day hike, yeah. Well, they were doing like 8 miles and passing us up. So, you know, we just do 10, 12 miles a day. That's about it. But, you know, you work up to it. So, anyways, it's Sealander and Hot Flash and Mr. Cappie signing off for another hike here on the Appalachian Trail at Hampton, Tennessee. And we're coming up, Cappie, to Boots Off Hostel. That way. Coming into the home stretch, Boots Off Hostel. There's the other cabins there we stayed in the other night. $50. They're small, but did a good job. It's got the bare essentials in there, electric light, fan, double bed with linen. So pretty good. I'm gonna check in. Howdy ho.
I met you before somewhere.
It's inside their little 3-person cabin. Has a fan and a refrigerator, and it has some touch lights, fancy headboard. There's another rack up there. That's not bad. The Boots Off Hostel right now, and I took a shower. I wanted to show you what I have. This one basically has hot and cold into a bucket. It actually works pretty good. It gives you a stream about 12 inches across, and shampoo and soap, drainage. It's quite clever. Great design. There's the outside of their showers, and the downstairs back is always open for hikers. And they have bathrooms here that are very clean. Quite surprised. Told it's a little outhouse. Let's open her up. Very nice. Very clean. Very clean. So, you know how many people it sleeps? How many people it sleeps? How many people does it sleep? 8. Okay. Hey, Cappie, be good. Oh, cool. There's an air conditioning in here. Wow, this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's pretty unique. Okay. On behalf of Hot Flash and myself, we appreciate you watching our videos up to this point. And I usually have music with our videos at the end, but I'm going to try something different, have a commentary, kind of give you our thoughts as we were hiking the trail, and show you some of the photos in that fashion. If you enjoy that, and also if you enjoy the videos, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, and feel free to comment. I don't mind answering questions and giving advice. Again, I appreciate you watching, so let's get on with the photo show. On this particular trek, we usually park our car and then get dropped off at a location, then we hike back to our car. So we started our trip at Boots Off Hostel, pictured here. At the hostel, we slept at that cabin pictured on the right, and we stayed there for like $50 a night, and then we got a ride from Mr. Jim. Mr. Jim's fellas that was working for him, they went ahead and took us to Greasy Creek Friendly, and that's where we started trail. And here's the marker for Greasy Creek Gap. So that's where we got off from the last time when we hiked from Spivey Gap. Here we have Hot Flash and Cappie getting ready, and that was our lunch right here. We stopped at this Clyde Smith Shelter for our lunch for the first day, and we were trying to get up to Roan Knob Shelter, but we didn't quite make it that far. I think we did the first day only 9 miles. And you see Cappie has his backpack. I loaded him up with enough food for 7 days. That's 4 pounds that he's showing right there. And we've been using that pack a couple years, and it's been really well for us. This is actually the first view that we've seen of the trip. I'm not sure exactly where that was, but there we are. Hey, waving, how you doing? Just some more views. We enjoy that views. We just enjoy when it's clear and it's not any rain. It just makes the trip so much better. I just thought that particular log there looked pretty interesting, but shouldn't be too many more pics right there. This particular picture, I didn't show the entire section, but that's Ash Gap. And that particular day, I think we did about 9 miles, and we camped just right behind where this picture is. I just took a picture of that sunset as it was right behind me. And there is a water source there. We did have to hike basically to the left of where that sunset was and walk down a steep hill to get water. And overall, that was a peaceful sight, and we got a good night rest, ready for the next day. Here, the Rudy Pathway is actually the trip up to Roan Shelter. There was quite a bit of roots and rocks that we had to climb in order to get up to the top of that mountain. And here's Hot Flash climbing up those mountains with all the rocks. I really kind of enjoy climbing on the rocks, climbing up. It's kind of pretty. This particular morning it was not bad on the temperatures. And so we were trying to make our way up to Carver's Gap, but before we got there, we actually stopped at this location right here. We're at Cloudland Hotel site. The original hotel site, there's not much there but a grassy top, but there is this chimney here that's left from an old hotel that once stood up top of Roan Mountain in the 19th century. Below it, there was actually a parking lot, and I want to pause here for a moment to talk about the parking lot, that there's water. There's also a bathroom and picnic tables. So if we knew about that, we could have just continued hiking from Ash Gap a little bit further and hiked up on Cloudland site and had bathroom and running water and a picnic table. But we were unsure if the bathrooms are open because there is some indication that they're closed during part of the season. And here we're pictured after we left the Cloudland parking lot. We're heading up to the Roan Shelter, and it's quite wet and damp there. There was a lot of black flies. Here's the shelter itself. It's not much to see. It's kind of dark inside. People were camping on the other side of it, up away from there. Just take a couple selfies there. But that's actually the highest shelter on the AT at 6,270 feet, which is quite interesting. So from there, we just continue to move on. Could head up here to Carver's Gap, pictured here. A lot of day hikers and a nice day trail where they're hiking up. Look at that cool tree. And they're hiking up to get to the Round Bald and J Bald and Grassy Bald. And just a moment, that's what we're kind of working our way up to. And Vanjie climbing the rock there. We had great views, because when you say a bald, you know, that's 360-degree view. And it's kind of the best part of the trail. You know, it's a lot better in green tunnels. See, Cappie even likes it right there. A lot of grass. He really enjoys the grass. In fact, he was trying to eat it that day. I don't know what the deal. We just had to keep stopping him. And there's a little bit of more of a trail heading off towards Grassy Ridge, I believe that was. And should be pictured here in a moment. We get on top of Round Bald. And then we're going to work our way over to Jane Bald and actually have our lunch. Yes, very beautiful. Nice clear skies. Right there as we had our lunch. There was probably, 50 to 100 people there. And I do believe that was the Round Bald, the first place. So as the pictures progress, it'll trigger my memory and give you some insight to that as we move along. A little cloudy, but we still had 40-50 miles. So, you know, if you go up there, you're going to take a lot of pictures too. And see back in the background, Cappie drinking from my bottle there because he was quite thirsty as well. So I do think that is Jane's Bald that we're on top of right there. Yeah, that is. Because that's where I ate my lunch, on the other side of the rock, away from everybody. Little fire pit. Now, okay. Now right there, I want to stop here at Mountain Shelter, Night 2. This is actually an old barn, and it's quite popular. The barn is at 4,544 feet. It has an upstairs, and you notice there's a sliding door. You can shut the door, but you know, when you're inside looking out, you can see all kinds of daylight. There's a lot of half-inch gaps. Now, as it's pictured right there, I slept, that is, Hot Flash and I slept to the left. You can see the bottom of my feet right there, and we slept right where Cappie was sitting. And these other gentlemen were on another pad. That pad was probably about a I don't know, 12 by 15 pad on both sides, and we just had a tremendous view as we were, you know, looking out there at night, waiting for the sun to go down. Cappie, I'm feeding him right there from the cup. That's peanut butter. He loves peanut butter, and that's looking out over the, you know, what's the top of Little Hump Mountain is where the next thing. And here's the next morning as we're climbing up. There is over Mountain Shelter, that little red dot down there. And this is actually the best part of the trip, I think, was going up Little Hump and Hump Mountain. There are two mountains that are, you know, pretty good height, over 5,000 feet. And as we're working our way up, the Hump Mountain was like 5,558 foot, and the Little Hump Mountain, which was the first one, we were actually at, you know, 5,446 foot elevation. That's going up Little Hump, I do believe. And this trail going up, there's a lot of false somethings. It makes you think, hey, I'm just about there, and then when you get up there, oh man, got another one, and another one, another one. It kind of reminded me of Colorado. And it looks like it took a couple pictures of the same thing, multiple pictures of the same thing there. And there's Vanjie pictured there. And yeah, that's going up Little Hump, because I remember stopping there with, she took a picture of her feet there, and we rested a moment. The grass was quite wet that morning. I remember my feet were soaking wet. And yeah, definitely we're going up Little Hump. I remember that rock. We came straight from where you look straight ahead after that rock, and some nice flowers there, and then we went the other direction. Ran into quite a lot of people. Some hillside, and looking forward, you know, that is Hump Mountain way over there, and we're eventually going to get to that as we walk around up to Little Hump, and then you have to backtrack and go back around the side before you can climb back up Hump Mountain, which is quite, you know, a bit more difficult. Gorgeous views. Just, I can't say it enough that we just kept popping off pictures and selfies, and it was just a wonderful time. And, you know, we've hiked up to this point, and this was probably the best part of the trail, you know, in our opinion. And here's after we got off on Hump Mountain and we're going around, and that's, well, actually Little Hump, and there's Hump Mountain we're looking straight ahead at there. And we're actually hiking down this trail right there on your left, and it's full of water. We're heading off, and we just got past the water here, and we're starting to head up the mountain. And Cappie, I tried to capture it, but Cappie was just sitting there rolling in the grass. He just loves the grass. He has a trail name of Grassman or Leafman, because he just can't handle, you know, going in the grass right there. Now right up here, we're taking a break, and I'm not sure if we're at the top just yet, but we're getting close. We took a bunch of breaks going up there because it was 85 degrees that day, and it's actually 10 degrees hotter than it normally was. That's looking back, and that's Hump Mountain, and we're moving forward. Some more scenic shots there. Yeah, Vanjie had her feet off, so I think we are on the top of Hump Mountain right here. Yeah, definitely at the top. Those people were heading away from us going downward. And, you know, after you go off of Hump Mountain, there's a continuous grassy ridge line that you follow down before you come down to the Dahle Flats. And again, there's the top of Hump Mountain. Other dogs there. People just, you know, relaxing and, you know, enjoying the good, clean air and the nice views. And here we go off into the sunset. But there's where we're heading now, down that trail. And we're going to work our way down to that Dahle Flats campground for lunch. So by this time, we're pretty tuckered out. And it was quite a arduous climb. So we'll just keep looking at the pictures. A lot of flowers, yellows and whites. Again, grassy trail, beautiful cloud structure, just the right amount of white and blue. And you can see the green, and we got a good 40-60 miles. Just gorgeous. So anytime I was afforded the opportunity to take a picture of a grassy top, we did it. It was just so wonderful to see it. Now here I took a couple shots of these macro shots of the white flowers, and then I come across these purple flowers, were kind of cool. I I don't know what they were. There's some yellow ones there as well. So I'm not really an arborist. But here, leaving North Carolina, and that's the entrance right there to the Dahle Flats. And that's where we actually ate lunch. We tuckered out, taking a break. Nice grassy area, a lot of places for a dozen or more tent there. I'm sitting with my shoes off because I'm just letting my feet air out and letting them relax, and just taking that time because it's still got, you know, quite a bit more to hike that day. I'll pause there on Cappie because Cappie, you know, he hikes hard, but when it's time to stop, set up tent, or eat lunch or whatever, he plops down and sits. And that's pretty much it. You know, he'll sit down, and if it's the end of the night, he'll just can't wait to get into the tent and just plop and sit. That green bowl beside Cappie, we use it as a dual purpose, as an expandable water and food. So it worked out real well. Fairly lightweight as well. But we left the Dahle Flats, and you know, the trail wasn't marked too well in places not too far. And we came across this rock structures here. Just look kind of cool. It's kind of a rocky outcropping in face. And we're kind of working our way down to US 19E. And we're deciding whether or not we're going to take and spend the night at a hostel or not. I know some cool orange flowers there. I don't know what those were as well. Maybe somebody can comment all them flower types. Would be kind of great. And working our way down, trying to get my bearings. Okay. Stop right here for a second. On night 8, the Meadow, a little bit of a story behind that was when we crossed that 19E, we had met those fellows that we were sleeping beside there in the Mountain Shelter the night before, and they told us, yeah, go to this hostel right in US 19, and he was telling me all they had home craft beer, and you know, it's a good place and fellowship and this and that, and Hot Flash and I decided just to go ahead and make it up to the next camp spot. But at this point, this place called the Meadow was showing, you know, flat area. But when I got up there, it was like 4 to 6 foot of kind of grass with briar patches. And yeah, there were some views, but there was nowhere to set the tent. So we kind of got, you know, had to move up just a little bit past this grassy outcropping and set up tent right there. And there's Hot Flash at night, just kind of chillaxing. And this is actually the next morning. I have some video, I do believe, of that place that we were at, but it's just past the Meadow, just up on the hill, right where you turn a hard 90 to the left, and it was right there. So here we have the sign for Jones Falls, which is the first of a series of falls we had on this trip. Now, what was really cool, there's Jones Falls, and it was, you know, pretty nice looking falls. It was probably, I don't know, 180 foot tall, but we stopped there and washed our clothes, and we soaked our feet because, you know, your feet start hurting. My feet hurt pretty bad. I still have plantar fasciitis, and that's like my only relief is to roll it at night and soak it at these areas. And there's Hot Flash soaking her feet. It's invigorating. Nice, clean, clear mountain spring water. So we probably stayed here an hour while we were getting ourselves cleaned up. And then after that, we're moving on, heading up to the next falls. But we passed this little creek here, and I wasn't sure what it was. I think I mentioned what it was in the video. But now this little falls here is actually the Mountaineer Falls, and it's right before the shelter, the Mountaineer Shelter. And that's where we kind of had our lunch that day. And that Mountaineer Shelter, here Cappie's taking a break there. That Mountaineer Shelter is at 3,196 feet. And there's where the little teepee, and that's actually the flat grounds that you can camp on that shelter as well. So continue down, came across the creek there and a couple more outcroppings. And that particular night, we were going to go ahead and stay at a hostel. So we were kind of making our way, trying to find water along the way, and we came across this bench, and you know, Hot Flash got a kick out of that, but it was just in an outcropping where you had a lookout. So we're just trying to make our way, and we end up having about a 11-mile day, and we stayed here at night for Upper Laurel Fork. And basically on the side of this Laurel Fork, creek pictured on the left, and directly behind the tent, if you look real close, there's actually a stream coming in that's real clear. That's where we got our water. There was some indication that there was some agricultural runoff in that water to the left there, the main fork itself, so we did not get our water from there. But there we are with our tent. We're still using the Light Gear Duo about 3 years now, and it's been doing well. It's a fairly light tent. I think I mentioned that before. It weighs like 2.5 pounds, and use your trekking poles to hold it up. And another good tip, in the back I have a piece of paracord. I tie it so I can wash my clothes, and that's our laundry actually hanging up behind there. And then the following day, it's not dry by the following day, so we just go ahead and hang it from the back of our packs. That way it will dry during the course of the day. So that's a typical, the way we do it. Here, coming in the morning, leaving from the Laurel Fork camping spot, and there was a very dark creek, and we made it to the first stop, which was this Moron Gap shelter at like 3,822 foot elevation. We stopped there and ate our lunch, and we came across these hikers. That was a group of elderly people that were in their 70s and 80s, and they were actually passing us up doing an 8-mile hike. So that was quite inspiring. And down here, take a picture of little bee and the yellow flower. I don't know what the yellow flower is, and here's some unique mushrooms. You always see all kinds of things like that, and I really don't know what I'm looking at, but it's fun to take the pictures of and comment if you know what they are. It's pretty interesting. So now we're just trying to make our way down, because we are definitely going to do a long day today. It was a 12.5 mile. We're going to hit a hostel, and so we were just taking the pictures as we're working our way down from the mountain, trying to head towards Dennis Cove Road, where we'll catch it. Here is a rotten cabin that's just pictured off to the side. I don't know the history behind it, but it's right there, right when you get to Dennis Cove Road. So we just stopped and took some pictures of it, and that's in Hampton, Tennessee. And right here pictured is Black Bear Resort Hostel, which is our night 5. We actually come out into the road from Dennis Cove, and there was a place to turn left, which I think it was the Kinkora Hiker Hostel, and the place to turn right was the Black Bear Resort, and it said no dogs on the left, dogs on the right, so guess where we went. And we're kind of glad we did, because this was an excellent hostel. Here pictured is their rustic cabins. It looks like about a 12 by 12 when we were in it. Has a fan and, electric, room for 3 people. There's 2 seats and a little table, and outlets, of course. But within the whole facility, there's a paved parking area. There's 4 or 5 of these little cool rustic cabins. There's larger cabins, and there's actually a whole house. There's an RV camping ground. There's a day room that has free internet. There's a place to do your laundry. There's a courtyard for you to sit and just mingle with the other hikers. You're actually right on that Laurel Fork Creek, and it's just gorgeous. There's tent sites there, right on the creek. So I definitely give this a 5-star rating, and would encourage anybody that's there to make a stop and grab yourself a pizza, because in that little store they had a really cool pizza oven. I think I paid $8 for a large pizza, and it cooked up in like 15 minutes. Really good. Actually gave Cappie the pepperonis. I like that little Bear Country sign. I think it was on the door. There's Hot Flash in the room doing a little selfie. Kind of see what you have there. Mr. Cappie on the floor, just relaxing and enjoying his time. Tuckered out, bam, sleeping and ready to just go to bed. I thought that was kind of cute. It's in the restroom, little bear holding the TP there. Oh, Mr. Cappie. Here's the next day as we're going to head now towards the Laurel Fork Falls. So Cappie's happy right there. He likes that water. Anytime we have water, he really enjoys that. So we'll have a lot of pictures on this one, because I thought this was probably one of the more beautiful places. And as you're going to this, it's quite a little bit of a trail as you're going down there. It's pretty beautiful. The rock faces there along the creek were just some beautiful sights. The bridge is going over, pictured here. Except you don't want to fall off. That's a long fall. So I remember I was turning and not paying attention, and Cappie's walking. I got a little bit tipsy on that one as far as my balance. But just a gorgeous place. A lot of day hikers. make their way down to this Laurel Fork Falls, and it's actually at an elevation of 2,123 feet. And quite a bit of a climb to go down, because once you get through all these rock walls, you're going to get into a point where you start on these stairs, and here's Hot Flash starting to climb down these 300 and some stairs, and they're not really stairs, they're just stacked rocks, for lack of a better word. So there we're at the falls, and the falls right there, it's kind of interesting because that water's about 8 foot deep, and it's probably 80 feet across there at the bottom and 60 some odd feet tall. But that's kind of dangerous to swim there. They did have a death, I was told, that people got too close to that and got pulled in. So we just went into about our knees and washed up and ate our lunch and just had a grand old time. We came across another hiker, I forgot his name, but he was taking a bath as well. Water sources like that are just a blessing on the trail. And there's Mr. Cappie taking his break again. Oh, that's a nice shot with him in the backpack and the waterfalls in the background. And of course, there's Hot Flash soaking her feet again, just looking at the falls. It's nice and cool because, again, those days were 85 degrees. And if I didn't mention, it's supposed to be not any higher, like 75 degrees during this time of year, but it was just really hot. Somebody had stacked up that little cairn. How many rocks can you go? I didn't try to put any on there myself, but we stayed there quite a bit, and I cut down quite a bunch of these pictures because the trail is going to just, follow downstream as we get ready to pick up. And here we are going downstream from the falls, starting our ascent, one more ascent there. But we hike right alongside of that creek, and cross a couple of those bridges, which I just had pictured there. Little waterfalls as well. Just gorgeous, and it was nice when you're hiking, you hear all that falls and the white water sounds. It's really quite relaxing and peaceful. There I'm climbing over the bridge. Now this is actually our last day, and so I think it was a 10 or 11 mile trek that day. Not sure, it could have been 9, not sure. We did between 9 and 12.5 was the ranges we did on this trip. And Cappy, again, getting in the water. He's got to play in that water. He just can't handle not playing in the water. Okay, and then the sign here, Pond Mountain Wilderness, Cherokee National Forest. So we're actually in that leg of the mountain when we're doing our last little bit of hiking. And this is just actually the termination of that wilderness, because we're coming out of it to go down the hill, going down to the, I think it's pronounced Watauga Lake, and that's right where the Boots Off Hostel is. And there's the first look at Watauga Lake, and we're heading down that way. Another red mushroom, not sure what it is. It looks kind of cool, so we take a picture of it. And it's orange moss. That's pretty big stuff. I didn't know what that was again, and well, had to find out. And here we at the end of our trip, Lake Watauga, and this is where we'll continue. We're looking at another trip coming up here in November, and we're trying logistically to make it work. But the next leg would be from Lake Watauga to Damascus, which is, I believe, about 40 miles. And I'm trying to make it work. I'm not sure if I can make that length of a trip work. So that's what we're looking at there. And here we're at Boots Off Hostel. I'll take a moment to talk about Boots Off Hostel, because when we came up here to Boots Off Hostel, it's actually a really nice place. Mr. Jim, the owner, bent over backwards to try to help us, schedule our rides, to make sure that we were met, because we came in late at night, and then helping us out when we got off the trail. So I definitely recommend. He definitely has put a lot of time and effort into this hostel. He's been building it up. He has nice facilities. We actually stayed in that first cabin to the right there. The first one, we stayed in that one. It's a little smaller. but it has, you know, a fridge, and it has room for 3. There is pictured, and there's a little fridge and the lights, and the coffee maker was actually in there as well. Here's actually the bunkhouse, and that bunkhouse was really cool. There was air conditioning in there, and well, at the time that we stayed in the cabin, there wasn't air conditioning, but there was a fan in there. But Mr. Jim said that he will be putting air conditioning in those cabins, so look forward to that in the 2019 season. But here in the bunkhouse, it has air conditioning. It actually reminds me of like inside of a ship, because when you go into that room, and I don't have a picture in there, it's in the video, but there's little like bunk cells with a curtain, so you climb into your bunk and close a curtain. You have a little bit of privacy, which I thought was extremely nice. Also with his bathrooms and his showers, very clean, kind of unique. His showers were like a big wash bucket with holes drilled in the bottom, and it was clean and it worked great, and it was kind of unique, and I thought it was kind of cool to have a 12-foot wide shower. The bathrooms, they're an outhouse type, but they do have standard toilet, standard sink. They have a clean painted, I think it was a clean painted concrete floor, so it was very nice, very well done. So I have to give hats off to Mr. Jim, because he did a great job in trying to make his hostel look accommodating. The grounds were clean, and he's still working on it. And I also want to mention that there was a free continental type breakfast, I think fruit and some cereal, and I wasn't sure if there was coffee or not. There probably was. I just missed it. I had to get up and go. But very nice. Now, at the end of the trip, I took a little bit of footage here of Lake Watauga just to kind of show it. I didn't show it in the video portion, but it's a pretty large lake, dam controlled. Mr. Jim actually has kayaks that he'll rent, and you can, you're not very far away, so you can spend the day kayaking and going out there. And here is actually the marina, where if you had a boat or jet ski or a kayak or something like this, you could launch from right here. But very nice. Well, that's the end of the trip. So we're going to leave it with Mr. Cappie on his walk, finishing up at least 61 miles on the Appalachian Trail. The beginning of September, actually first week of September 2018. Until next time, this is Sealander, Hot Flash, and Mr. Cappie saying see you on the trail. And remember to stay fit, and you too will feel young. As always, been a joy and a privilege. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up there at the bottom. Feel free to subscribe, and I enjoy comments. I try to get back as soon as possible. So feel free to leave any comments, suggestions of things that you'd like to see. Have a great evening, and again, thanks for watching.